Assalamu alaikum friends. Uh, Today I'm sitting down because I'm going to go over the tutorial for teaching you how to make loops in Visual Basic for applications. Um, Last time, if you have not seen the tutorial that I covered, it was regarding how to start with Visual Basic for applications in Microsoft Excel. This can be considered as a continuation of the same tutorial, or it can be considered independent because running loops in Visual Basic is very simple and the concept is same. Why it's important that you learn this as the next step is that because after you have learned that how to do basic Visual Basic applications or recording of macros, then the most important thing which you will be unable to do using the record macro feature in Excel is how to run loops, and that's where the real power of macros come in handy. Because once you have learned how to run loops, then you can actually make those macros do repetitive actions which you have recorded before. Otherwise, a recording is just a recording. You have already performed that function, and you will find very less cases in which actually a recorded macro can be applied on any other worksheet as well. But if you actually combine recording macro plus running them in loops, then actually you can make a very powerful macro. This is still going to be, today's lecture is still going to be just focusing on teaching you the commands on how to run a loop. I will be using very simple example. It will not be fruitful for running a real macro, but at least my purpose is that to teach you how the basic syntax or the structure of the loop command, and maybe we will go into conditional statements as well. Okay, so today I come with a whiteboard because I'm going to be teaching the loops without actually going on the screen. First to explain to you how the syntax works, and then I will just quickly show you on the screen that what the end result is going to look like. So the basic syntax for the loop is somewhat like for I is equal to 1 to 10, and then we are going to write next I, and in between can be anything. So in between is whatever is there, I don't care for that. So let me explain what this syntax means. For I is equal to 1 to 10. So this is how you run a loop in Visual Basic for applications. For is the I stands for actually a variable name. You can have any kind of variable using I. You can call it X, A, B, C, or even a full name, alpha, Bravo, whatever. So you can actually declare a variable name called I using this command. So what it is saying is for I is equal to 1 to 10, that run I from 1 to 10. So it's going to run the loop for 10 times, starting with the value of I from 1 and then going up to 10. So if I had changed it to 5 to 10, then the value of I will start from 5 and then go from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this command at the bottom, next I, so it actually automatically increments the value of I by 1. So first time it's 1. By the time it goes through this code, it goes to the next one. So at this time, it will go to the next value of I, which is logically 2. So this is one of the basic loops that you can use in Visual Basic applications. So whatever you write inside this, all this green area, whatever you have code inside it, so this is the code that will be repeated from here to here 10 times. So any macro you have recorded in Visual Basic for applications using Excel record macro feature, on top of it and bottom of it, you can use this, and then that command will run 10 times. Of course, the logic is going to be that we are going to change slightly something in this code which is dependent on the value of I, because otherwise, for example, if you have very simple thing, let's say you're changing the color of a cell. So if you run a loop 10 times, it will change the same cell's color 10 times. That's not what we want to achieve. What we want to achieve is that once you have actually used this command, the row number is actually linked with I, so that you are changing the color of 10 different cells, which are cell number 1 to 10 maybe. So in this way, actually, that's the logic that you can use to run loops. So I'm going to show an example, but in this case, what I'm going to do is, let's say in the green box, I'm going to say range, let's say A1 is equal to scales. So in the green area, what I did was, if I have declared range A1, and the value of range A1 or cell A1 is going to be scales. So it will run 10 times, and 10 times it will change the value of cell A1 to scales. No other effect will come, but it will still change it 10 times. Rub this off. There is also another command in Excel to change the value of a cell, which I actually prefer when we are using. You can always use range, but there is another more powerful command, which is cells, to change the value of a cell. How that command works is cells row comma column is equal to whatever you want to say in quotes. So actually, cells command takes two variables in the bracket, row and column. So it can be as compared to your range command. Range command takes your normal Excel references, A1, B2, C3, those kind of references. The cells commands actually take two numbers, row number and column number. So it's both are numbers. Incrementing alphabets are more difficult in Visual Basic than incrementing numbers. So you can actually type row comma column. So for example, if I write cells 1 comma 1, so it will correspond to the first row, first column, which is A1, and there it will put some value, let's say X. So it will go and put X in that row and column. So right now I have a variable I which is changing every time. So for example, if in this place, now I'm going to put actual values, I put I, and here I put 1. So what's it going to do is that it will run this loop 10 times. So first time the value of I will be 1. It will go to cells 1 comma 1. So first row, first column, it will change its value to X. Next time the loop will run, I will get incremented here to 2. Then next time it will be 2 comma 1. So second row, first column. Then third row, first column. Fourth row, first column. So in this way, actually you will see that in the first column, for 10 rows, the X will get populated in 10 rows. So that's how you use the cells command in a loop. So using cells and a loop, now we are having much better control than a normal range function and changing the value of 10 rows. And this is how we are going to actually use our loops in the future as well. So if I change this X to I as well, then in the first row it will put the value of I, which is 1. In the second row it will put the next value of I, which is 2. Third time the loop runs, it will change the value to 3. Now you must be wondering that why we did such a difficult thing to achieve this function, but the simple thing is that start learning from simple things and then we can do something more useful. So this tutorial, as I said, I'm not going to teach you any cool trick. I just want you to understand or grasp the basic concept of running a loop, and maybe in the next video we will go and use this knowledge to make something useful. The code is going to be still the same, but at least at that time you will understand and I don't have to go into the basics of running a loop. So running the loop is the most important thing. Next thing I'm going to cover is your conditional statements. So how the conditional statement works is very similar to what you already do in Excel. So for most of the things you can actually use conditional statement within Excel, the if command. So if x is equal to y, then do this, otherwise do this. So it's very simple. But why you need to learn this same command in VBA is because sometimes you are dealing with variables which are of VBA and not of Excel. In Excel you will type if cell A1 is equal to or greater than 10, then do this, otherwise else do this. So normally this is what you put in Excel. Your command is normally if A1 is greater than 10, then big, else small. So normally this is how you put the command in Excel, right? So if cell A1 value is greater than 10, do this, then do this, else do this. In VBA, when we are dealing with VBA variables, just like the value of I, that if I is up to 5, then do something else, but if I goes above 5, then do something else. Then how you put the command is if I is greater than 5, then, and you put something here, whatever you want to achieve in the next row, else you put something here, and you finish the statement with end if. So this is how you write your basic conditional statement within Visual Basic. If I is greater than 5, then whatever is here. So you can write any code, any recorded macro that you can put here. So if the I value is greater than 5, then it will do this. Else, if the I value is less than 5, then it will do this. Okay, let's see that in Excel as well to check it out. So what I've done is that, so if I is greater than 5, then just put the number of I in the cell. But if it is I is less than 5, that is else, then it should put an X with the number as well. Just to give you an example how it works. And now let's run this loop. And as you can see that for smaller numbers an X has appeared, whereas for larger numbers greater than 5, the simple value of I has come. So that's how you actually run your conditional statements. So now today we have covered the cell function, on how to change the value of a cell using cells, row and column reference. We have covered loops, how to run your basic loops using any variable name. I've used the variable name I, which is very common that you will see programmers use, but again you can use any number alphabet as your reference or variable. And third thing we have learned is the conditional statements. So next time what we are going to cover is we are going to combine these techniques, what we learned in macro, as well as creating some loops to do some functions on multiple Excel files in just one go using these techniques. So hopefully you will stay with me. If you have any confusion on the basics of running a loop or conditional statement, then please do ask me a question. Of course, there are many other methods on running conditional as well as running loops, but I'm not going to go into those details. As long as you learn one good command really nicely, that is going to serve you well. So hope this was useful for you, and next time we will go into some more useful functions. Okay, thank you for your time. Allah.